Check, ei. Check premsa, audio premsa. Check, sí, 1, 2.
You give me a signal when interpreter is ready, right?
The interpreter will join us now.
Okay.
So I will just briefly introduce you and the mission to life, so you explain everything, and then I will give you the floor for a first statement, and we will have consecutive interpretation.
Okay. Conservative means I speak, he translates. Not at this. Okay. Okay. I hope my mom will not call me at the moment. She always
Estem
knows.
esperant la interpretació, un segon, ¿L'interpreter? Y tothom té, todo el mundo tiene pinganillo? ¿Sí? ¿Sí?
I do have.
Vale. Sí, sí, Canal 3.
Okay, channel 2 then.
So it will not be consecutive. I mean, it will be so you can.
I understand. Okay.
Que no n'hi ha prou. Teniu el meu no el vull. Aquí hi ha una altra.
Edel,
Farem servir?
can you please make a few pictures of that, okay?
You will have plenty. Si algú més necessita interpretació... ¿Algú més necesita interpretación? ¿No? Bueno, buen día, muy buenos días. Bienvenidos a la oficina del Parlamento Europeo en Barcelona para esta rueda de prensa con la que se concluye la visita de información de la delegación de peticiones que desde el lunes hasta hoy, en la que varios eurodiputados han viajado a Cataluña para analizar el modelo lingüístico de inmersión lingüística en la región y se han reunido con peticionarios, representantes de familias y profesores, asociaciones, sociedad civil, miembros de la judicatura y autoridades. También han visitado 2 centros educativos del Baix Llobregat. La comisión de peticiones elaborará un informe en los próximos meses con las recomendaciones que será adoptado en comisión parlamentaria antes del último pleno de esta 9ª legislatura que tendrá lugar a finales de abril. Y nos dará todos los detalles la... Sí, no, jefe. También nos importa. Si no vol, puc posar. Did you receive interpretation for anything?
Yes, yes, I'm fine, I'm fine. Everybody's taking pictures of me.
Bueno.
I will do the same, huh?
Los problemas técnicos, ¿no? No están superados los problemas técnicos, dicen las cámaras. A ver, can you try your microphone if you speak a bit? Just say something.
Does it work?
Sí,
I think it works. Nice.
No pateo. No pateo. Vale, pues yo utilizo. ¿A qué funciona? ¿Entre los dos? Sí, vale. ¿Tampoco? Bueno, a mí me entenderéis, es igual. A mí me entenderéis igual. Vamos a pasar, para que dé los detalles de esta visita, a Yana Tom. Ella es eurodiputada del grupo de Renew Europe, es de Estonia, ha presidido esta delegación, es eurodiputada desde 2014, esta es su segunda legislatura y además es vicepresidenta de la comisión de peticiones que nos ha visitado. Así que paso la palabra a Yana Tom para una primera intervención y a partir de aquí las preguntas que tengan ustedes. Yana, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me? I think you do. First of all, sorry for the delay. For 10 minutes we are late. Apologies for that, keeping you waiting. And before I come to the statement, I have to clarify that according to rules of procedure of the European Parliament, the only person who can speak on behalf of delegation is chair of delegation, which is me. All other members, according accompanying members coming from Spain, giving interviews, which we're absolutely free to do, they're expressing their own opinions. So please, if you write about that in local media, in Spanish media, keep it in mind. This is not the position of European Parliament, of Committee of Petitions, or even of this delegation. So there is no position at the moment. We will shape our position when we're back in Brussels and we'll receive all other information which is missing at the moment. And in order to be as precise as possible, I will just read out a statement we prepared all together with full members of delegations. For another clarification, full members of delegations, according to rules of procedure, can be only members elected from other countries of the country that we are visiting, which means that members from Spain are accompanying members. They are not members of delegation. This is a rule we always follow. I don't know, for some reason it's very noisy in the room. Interpreters, okay, interpreters can continue, of course. So, this fact-finding visit of the Petty Committee has been agreed by the majority of the political groups composing the committee and endorsed by the Committee on Petitions. It has been authorized by the responsible governing body of the European Parliament, which is Bureau. Bureau of European Parliament means its presidents, Roberta Metsola, and all vice presidents. The composition of this delegation ensured a pluralistic representation of the Committee of Petitions, and this program includes suggestions of all political groups. The delegation is composed of the following official members: Mr. Peter Jahr, EPP. Peter, please show yourself. Just Peter is here, yes, this nice gentleman. Peter is from Germany. Mr. Cosmo Zlatowski, ECR. Cosmo is from Poland. Miss Maria Angela Danzi, non-attached member from Italy, Cinque Stelle, and myself from Renew. So as you see, there is also geographical balance and also gender balance, which is very important nowadays. The Green Group is represented by the accompanying member, Mrs. Diana Riba-Jenner. Yes, I see her. Yes, and other accompanying members are Ms. Dolores Montserrat, Ms. Rosa Estratas from EPP, Ms. Maite Pagazartunduo from Renew, and Ms. Jorge Buxade Villalba from ECR. He is not here, unfortunately, at the moment. The objective of the mission is to assess in situ the language immersion model in Catalonia, its impact on families moving and residing in the region, as well as on multilingualism, non-discrimination, and compliance with international and EU law, as raised by a number of petitions received by the European Parliament. During the last 3 days, the delegation met with the petitioners and parents affected by the language immersion model in Catalonia. It was made very clear to us that what they are seeking for their children is the right to receive teaching in Spanish, not only in Spanish, but 25% in Spanish. But this does not mean either replacing or giving up learning Catalan. This is not yet implemented ergo omnes in the educational system of Catalonia, as the delegation heard from the judicial authorities. Parents wishing to have Spanish teaching for their children are obliged to individually go to the judicial courts in order to have it implemented by their children's schools. We heard that these effects of taking such judicial actions trigger social exclusion or, in some cases, intimidation and bullying against children and their parents. Therefore, it is clear that petitions we met perceive the Catalan linguistic immersion model as social exclusion rather than a way to promote social inclusion as advocated by the regional administration. The High Court of Justice of Catalonia, which the delegation met yesterday, explained that the 25% ruling of 16 December 2020, established by Supreme Court of Catalonia, is currently not applied by the regional administration. Following this ruling, the administration enacted a law and a decree repealing this 25% teaching requirement in Spanish. The judiciary challenged the new law and decree before the Constitutional Court, which is currently ongoing. The judges also reported that some of those parents who took individual judicial actions have been victims of hate speech and investigations are ongoing. The judicial authorities explained to us that it is the responsibility of the administration to implement the judicial rulings for all citizens, and it should never be for a citizen to seek judicial redress for his or her own case in this instance. In order to acquire a comprehensive and balanced overview of all sides, the delegation met with stakeholders such as Catalan Teachers Trade Union, USTEC, the Centres Libres, and the civil society Foundation Bofil. We heard from USTEC that in the 25% rule is applied, this will discriminate against Catalan speakers. The Centres Libres argued that linguistic immersion is not a model of success, and furthermore that pupils in Catalonia are 1 year behind the rest of Spain, according to different tests. Foundation Bofil tried to explain that the socio-economic reasons are behind these bad results and not the use of language immersion model, but could not provide any data to prove this yet. The delegation also visited 2 schools, Centre d'Education, I'm sorry if I pronounce it incorrectly in Spanish, Centre de Educación Especial Can Rigol for children for special needs, applying the full immersion model, and the Instituto Salvador Dalí. The Salvador Dalí School, billed as a success story in terms of bilingualism, has only 30 students out of 700 currently receiving 25% of Spanish teaching, and this was only because one of the petitioners took legal action. The delegation takes the exchange of views in the schools with a certain reservation, given that the teachers and headmasters of the 2 schools visited spoke under the supervision of a representative of the Regional Ministry of Education, who took the floor on numerous occasions to clarify what we were being told by the directors, and sometimes even spoke instead of the directors, which we felt hindered a free exchange of views. The delegation also met with the Catalan Education Administration, the Conseller of the Generalitat, as well as the National Higher Education Inspection Authority. They explain how language immersion ensures integration, prevents segregation, and, according to them, complies with the national standards of education. Their replies leave many unanswered questions due to the fact that no updated data could be produced to corroborate these arguments. Finally, the delegation met with the representative of the Catalan Ombudsman to acquire her insights of the linguistic immersion model in Catalonia and its impact on citizens' rights. Over the past 3 days, the delegation heard from representatives of all sides detailed but contradictory arguments. It will be our task to draft a comprehensive mission report with the necessary recommendations. This report will be drafted by the official members of the delegation, coordinated by me as head of delegation, seeking broad agreement for its content. The conclusions and recommendations of the draft report, which will be then presented and voted in the Committee of Petitions in about 3 months' time. Before concluding, we regret that our visit, authorized by the highest instance of the European Parliament, has been received by offensive and insulting protests and demonstrations, including words such as fascists and racists, in front of the official premises of the European Parliament in Barcelona, which requires the presence of the police to ensure the safety of the members of this delegation. I would like to extend our sincere gratitude to all the participants and interlocutors during these 3 days in the region of Catalonia. Their views, insights, proposals and comments will be thoroughly examined and taken into consideration by this delegation. And one more sentence I will add to this statement is that, as I mentioned maybe in the beginning, there are some unanswered questions. We still did not receive answers to them, and we agreed with all interlocutors, but later we will exchange views and information in written, and thus we will make an effort to make a comprehensive and adequate report. Thank you.
Muchas gracias, Yanacom. Vamos a pasar a las preguntas. Facilitaremos un micrófono que tendrán mis compañeros. Los medios de comunicación que quieran hacer una pregunta, que levanten la mano, por favor, y pediremos que se identifiquen con el nombre y también el nombre del medio de comunicación. ¿Preguntas? Sí, por favor.
Buenos días, soy Ágata Fabregas de TV3, la televisión pública catalana. Quería preguntarles cómo han elegido los 2 centros educativos que han visitado, al tratarse de un centro de secundaria y uno de educación especial, y por qué no se ha visitado ninguna escuela de primaria. Esta es una primera pregunta. Y después también, ustedes ahora explicaban todas las reuniones que han tenido, ¿por qué no se han reunido con representantes de la mayoría de familias de la escuela en Cataluña? Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you for your question. I will start from the end. Committee of Petitions is the only committee in the European Parliament where citizens can address their concerns. So our first step is always to meet petitioners, for these are those who trigger the action. And we met with local authorities who definitely represent Catalan majority. And we also met with trade unions, so-called, I read today this media overview with Google Translate, but still, they are called pro-Catalan teachers. So I believe that this side of problem was pretty well represented in our mission. But if you have any additional ideas for us, yes, just tell us, and we will probably make a contact. But I believe that we have pretty adequate picture. What about 2 schools? I think it was, I'm not absolutely sure, frankly speaking. These decisions are made by Secretariat, but it was, of course, in agreement with local government. And as I mentioned, there was a representative of local government also in the meetings, which means that they were those who selected these schools we visited. Thank you.
¿Más preguntas? Levante la mano. Sí, aquí en primera fila tenemos una pregunta.
Hola, mi nombre es Ivana Vallespín, del diario El País. Sobre esto de la elección de centro, desde el exterior parece como una elección un poquito hecho a medida de las familias peticionarias, porque el instituto que se visita es uno donde estudian el hijo de uno de los padres peticionarios. No sé si el centro de educación especial, bueno, alguien lo debería decidir por qué se visita a este centro. Entonces, ¿qué más? Han hablado de que el instituto consideran que es un éxito del bilingüismo y han dicho porque se aplica el 25% en 30 de alumnos de varios centenares. No sé si consideran un éxito de bilingüismo que solamente se haga el 25% en una de las clases. También veo que dice que la Fundación Bofill hablaba que los problemas de los resultados era porque había una falta de equidad en el sistema y dice que no dan pruebas. Ha reprochado un poquito que la Fundación Bofill no daba pruebas de estos argumentos, pero en cambio no cuestionan los argumentos de como docentes libres que achaquen los malos resultados a la inmersión lingüística, un sistema que siempre ha estado hace como 40 años que existe en Cataluña y ha habido momentos en que Cataluña sí que ha tenido buenos resultados en PISA, que lideraba. Entonces, no sé si es un poco agosarat o atrevido decir que esto es debido a la inmersión.
Vale, vamos ahora a contestar estas preguntas porque si no se van a acumular. Sí.
As I said at the very beginning, and I have to repeat it, we do not have any conclusions yet. I also, like I said, I'm reading media, of course. Each member of a parliament every morning receives the whole overview of media he was mentioned in. I never was that famous in my life, like here 2 days in Spain, and I see some strange conclusions which were never made. And I see that Brussels came to the conclusion of this or that. So just to be very clear, there are no conclusions. There are questions and we're seeking for answers. If it comes to poor results, we have PISA tests of that year, which are really sad. And why we ask, what is this? We have two versions. One group of people says this is about immersion, our children cannot cope with this. Others say that this is about social economic backgrounds. So what we are demanding now, proof to both of these claims. I hope we will receive it and then we'll move forward. If it comes to schools, you're absolutely right. One of the schools is where we had petitioner who took judicial action. He went to court and finally he got this ruling, and there is one class where people are receiving education also 25% in Spanish. And of course, objectively, you cannot call it bilingualism if out of 700 pupils, only 30 receive that. So this is exactly what we're speaking about. Citizens have to do it by themselves. They are kind of, in front of system which does not support them. They have to do it individually. We see it as a problem, but again, this is not conclusion. This is, at the moment, my personal view, and we will discuss it in the Parliament, and maybe we'll receive some information which will prove it or not. Thank you.
No sé si tenemos alguna pregunta más adelante, si no iremos a las mesas. Aquí tenemos las cámaras.
Hola, buenos días. Mi nombre es Ana Ruiz, de La Xarxa. Ha insistido usted en que habían formulado preguntas que no habían obtenido respuestas. Me gustaría saber si podría avanzar algunas de estas preguntas, que supongo formarán parte del informe final, y qué tipo de evidencias, pruebas o datos han echado en falta en las diferentes reuniones que han mantenido.
Thank you for this question. Look, Anna, like example, we asked how many pupils in general in Catalan do receive this 25% education in Spanish, and we didn't get an answer, which is strange. If you are dealing with this particular problem and you know that you are receiving delegation who are trying to clarify the issue, there is no data even about that. Somewhere it exists, but not in the meetings we held. So these are the questions, very, very concrete ones, that we are going to send in written, and we hope that we will receive an answer in upcoming future.
Tenemos una pregunta aquí delante y luego iremos a las mesas de detrás.
Pau Massip, de Radio Estel. Primero le quería preguntar, dice que no tienen conclusiones, pero bueno, desde su resumen de la visita, bueno, se podría decir que tiene un punto de vista usted. Y eso es una de las críticas que han hecho tanto partidos eurodiputados. De hecho, no hay eurodiputados socialistas en la misión oficial, solo hay un delegado de los Verdes como acompañante porque es del país. No sé si se ha acusado la delegación de tendenciosa, no sé cómo han recibido esos mensajes. Y también le quería preguntar, porque el lunes, cuando salieron de la reunión, los sindicatos nos comentaron que una eurodiputada había expresado que al final esta misión no tiene mucho sentido porque las leyes educativas dependen del país y en el caso de España dependen de la comunidad autónoma. Entonces, desde su punto de vista, más allá de las conclusiones, esas conclusiones, al final, ¿para qué van a servir? ¿Qué van a aportar al sistema educativo catalán?
I'm very sorry. It's very unfortunate maybe for you. I'm a former journalist. I'm not commenting rumors here. I'm not commenting somebody's claims. I have no idea who said that. I did not hear that in the meeting. I was there. You were not. So, I mean, this is the point where I just can say that this is not true. Nobody said that. At least in my presence, and I was there from the beginning till the end. And there is significant difference between conclusion and point of view. Of course, we're all human beings. We all have certain level of IQ, and we all have our points of view. But it doesn't mean that these points of view will be transferred into conclusions. That is the reason why they take this time to ask additional questions, so to say, to calm down, to discuss this with our colleagues in the committee, and then there will be conclusions on the paper. Like we used to say in Estonia, soup is too hot now to draw any conclusions if we want to be responsible politicians. If it comes to socialists, coordinator of socialist group of petty committee, Cristina Maestre, sorry. Cristina Maestre was in the list of participants, and she has withdrawn her candidacy, her name from the list like 6 or 7 days ago, which means that we cannot speak about kind of boycott or whatever. And as you see, we have only 4 members here, full members of the mission. I've participated in the mission with 2 members and the 3 members. I mean, this is absolutely okay. We have Christmas week here, and we have Green Week. So people just went to vacations. So here you have, I would say, very responsible members of European Parliament. Don't look for some kind of conspiracy behind that. It's extremely transparent. Thank you.
Vamos a algunas preguntas de las mesas de detrás que no vemos por las cámaras. Sí.
Hola. Puc fer la pregunta en català?
Can you
No.
please show you? I don't see
Ok.
you. Ah, I see.
Ok, soy Arnau Llonart del periódico VilaWeb. Quería preguntarle cuál es su punto de vista sobre la protección que necesita el catalán. Por ejemplo, ahora mismo estamos en Barcelona, no puedo preguntar en catalán a un representante del Parlamento Europeo. También han estado estos días por Barcelona, por Cataluña. ¿Cuál ha sido su experiencia en relación a las lenguas presentes en el catalán, el castellano, en los comercios, en la situación? Después también quería preguntarle por qué se ha hecho esta misión, si la comisión ha expresado hace años ya que la política lingüística forma parte de la política interna de los estados, y también qué le parece la intromisión judicial en las políticas públicas decidida por la mayoría de los ciudadanos. Gracias.
Thank you very much for this question. You know, I'm coming from Estonia. Estonia's population is 1.3 million, and Estonian language is spoken by less than 1 million of people. And that is the reason why Estonians are protecting their language, sometimes very, I would say, I don't want to use impolite words, but you cannot compare that, you know. Catalan is not endangered language, as I know. What about my experience in shops? Unfortunately, due to this very severe schedule, we didn't have any time for shopping. I went to Sagrada Familia, and I didn't hear Spanish language around me. There were Japanese, Chinese, and English tourists probably. One Estonian lady I met. So I don't have any experience on that. If it comes to my personal attitude, I mean, we can discuss it later after this press conference. It has nothing to do with conclusions of the mission. We came here because, again, we are the ones who are responsible for reacting to signals from European citizens. And if it comes to subsidiarity, you were referring to subsidiarity according to the treaties of functioning of the European Union, culture and education is something for member states to decide, which is absolutely true. We also have Charter of Fundamental Rights. We also have issues with discrimination and non-discrimination. We also have the issues of protection of minority languages, local languages, and so on. And being under the pressure and continuing to receive the signals, we had to react. This is what we do always, and we visit many countries, and Spain is not the main. Thank you.
Tenemos otra pregunta ya en la mesa detrás.
Sí.
Sí, micro, ¿se puede repetir?
Sí, perdón, quedaba la pregunta respecto a la intromisión judicial a las políticas públicas decidida por el Poder Legislativo.
¿Qué opinión le merece?
I'm sorry, I didn't get the question. Interference of judiciary
Sí, el hecho de que el Poder Legislativo decida, de acuerdo con las mayorías políticas, cómo tiene que ser el modelo educativo en Cataluña y que luego el Poder Judicial intente cambiarlo accediendo sin tener esas mayorías los peticionarios.
This is a question of separation of powers, and I'm afraid that we have slightly different views here. There was a decision, there was court ruling of Supreme Court, and 9 months later, after that, it was not implemented, and then the Parliament just adopts a law which basically destroys the ruling, and now they are again in court, which is, I mean, absolutely okay that they're again in court. But in fact, this is, of course, a question of separation of powers, which in my personal view, again, this is not conclusion of this mission of delegation of the Parliament, this is my personal view at the moment. I would like to understand if there is conflict about rule of law around the issue or not. Maybe not, maybe yes, we'll see.
Sí. Hola, buenos días. Soy Sara Cañete de Catalunya Radio. Quería trasladarle un par de preguntas. La primera, me gustaría saber cómo ha ayudado a la misión, o incluso a usted misma, visitar un centro de educación especial para entender cómo funciona el modelo de inmersión lingüística. Esta sería una. Y luego me gustaría saber si nos pueden dar algunos ejemplos de estos datos o de estas preguntas que están pendientes de resolver. Muchas gracias.
You know, I have a list of these questions. I don't have it with me, but like I already said to your colleague, Anna, I remember your name for some reason, that we didn't have the data about how many people are provided this. We asked, for instance, in Supreme Court, we heard quotes from messengers sent to parents who were trying to get this 25% education in Spanish. We are going to your home, we are going to throw you with stones and all kinds of things, which was absolutely awful. And we asked about statistics. I mean, how many cases do they know? How many cases do they investigate? And so on and so forth, these kind of things. So this is just a lack of data. I understand that the issue here is very polarizing and very contradictory. So of course, during the meetings, people were preparing for the meetings, they were very emotional, and if you get emotional, you sometimes just don't have time to present relevant data for, you know, this is a kind of fight of the emotions, who will be the most influential, I would say. But there was some part of the question again, but I don't remember it now, sorry.
¿Ha quedado algo pendiente, Sara, de las preguntas?
Sí, disculpe, a mí me interesaba saber cómo ha ayudado a la misión visitar un centro de educación especial para entender el modelo de inmersión lingüística. Gracias.
You know, you again put me into a position where I have to share my personal view. I experienced these kind of visits, I would say not in European countries, where a head of the school obviously cannot speak out freely, for he's supervised by a high official who was not in the program. We didn't know that gentleman is coming. And in the next visit, in the next school, we again see him at the table, and he is boss here. And it's absolutely clear that, you know, it is far from free exchange of views. So that was my impression, and it doesn't help.
Muy bien. ¿Alguna pregunta más? Levante la mano, por favor. Sí, detrás.
Hola, buenos días. Soy Lourdes Gata, de Radio Nacional. Sí, me gustaría preguntarle, volviendo a esas preguntas o a esos datos que comentaba usted que estaban pendientes y que después iban a requerir, si además de las cifras sobre alumnos catalanes que tienen ese 25% de clases en castellano, también les han facilitado la información o piensan solicitarla sobre cuántas son las familias que en las últimas décadas, en los últimos 20 años, han acudido a los tribunales para solicitar esa enseñanza en castellano. Gracias.
I'm sorry, I didn't get the question. You were asking what will happen if we will receive information about how many families went to court, right?
Perdón, preguntaba si les han facilitado o van a ustedes a solicitar los datos para elaborar el informe sobre cuántos en total son las familias que han acudido a los tribunales en estos años para pedir esa enseñanza en castellano.
Yes, I believe we will ask for that and we will receive that. But, you know, I mentioned this demonstration which we saw here when we left the building on Monday evening. We are all adult people, we are politicians, we are used to all kind of pressure. But we know, and we've seen videos of the same demonstrations in front of the schools. And when I put myself into shoes of mother who is bringing her small child to school through this demonstration, I would highly doubt if this lady would dare to go to court. So, I mean, there is statistics and there are some other factors which can have certain effect on that. So, of course, we need statistics, but we cannot be based only on that. We have to take into consideration some other factors also. Thank you.
Sí, tenemos otra pregunta detrás.
Hola, Víctor Mondelo, del Mundo. Quería preguntarle con su punto de vista personal. Me queda claro que la comisión aún no puede ofrecer un dictamen. Su punto de vista personal sobre si considera que en los colegios catalanes hay una exclusión real del castellano y, en caso afirmativo, si considera que esa exclusión del castellano viene promovida por la Generalitat al negarse a aplicar la sentencia del 25% que extendería el uso del castellano a todos los colegios de Cataluña. Gracias.
If you're asking my personal view is the same like motto of European Union, which is unity in diversity. I personally believe that common language is not a linguistic term. Common language is something much bigger and much more important. And I don't believe that integration is a one-sided road. Integration is if each part of the society comes towards each other. I don't believe in forced integration. Forced integration I personally would call assimilation. But again, this is my personal view and let it be it.
No sé si tenemos alguna pregunta más. Sí, la Ivana del País.
Hola, tengo varias preguntas. Una es si consideran que o tienen la sensación de que la Generalitat ha dificultado o ha puesto trabas a la misión europea. También si han podido comprobar que realmente existe una exclusión del castellano en los colegios catalanes y si es así, en cómo la han podido comprobar, en qué se basan. Y si tiene la sensación, no sé si se va a la misión, con la sensación de haber podido ver exactamente cómo es el sistema de inmersión lingüística. Y una última es, hablan mucho de las familias que han pedido el 25%, son unas 50, la Generalitat ha dado en más de una ocasión que son unas 50 familias más o menos que va variando, que tienen el 25% aprobado vía judicial, de 1 millón de alumnos que existe en el sistema educativo catalán. No sé si se ha quedado con las ganas de saber también qué piensa el resto de familias, porque, por ejemplo, una de las quejas de las familias es que hay 25 alumnos en el aula. Un alumno pide los 25. Vale, se le concede el derecho a esta familia a tener la educación en castellano. Pero ¿qué pasa con los derechos de las 24 familias restantes?
Yes, this is favorite argument which we heard several times during the meetings. But you know, this argument is always used when we're speaking about minority rights. whatever minorities, be it, I don't know, LGBT people, be it whatever. It's always like, what about majority rights? I would suggest, if it's possible, to look for, we have such format in European Union like exchange of best practices. You are not inventing bicycle here. You are not the only state in the world with this problem. Example of my home country, Estonia. We are switching totally from, we have a big Russian community, I'm Russian speaker myself, and we have big Russian community, and now we're switching 100% to Estonian language. But according to the law, if there is a group of parents, 10 parents in school, then they can ask for a certain percentage of Russian language and literature, and this doesn't require the whole class to be there. They're just making this group of these children, and they're teaching them. I believe that this is not the only possible model. So, in my view, this concept is not very workable because of what you said. But nobody is looking for another one, which is very strange in my view. But again, I cannot tell you or Spanish government or whoever how to deal with this. But maybe this is the point for discussion also in media. If there is a problem, we have to solve the problem. But why are you trapped in one particular concept? You have to look to another. This is again my personal view, like I said, like maybe 100 times already. Thank you.
Una última pregunta, ¿alguien?
Repito las preguntas. Bueno, si la Generalitat ha puesto trabas a la misión, considera, y si se va con la sensación de haber comprobado que es el sistema de inmersión lingüística.
I do not know that. I do not know that. I hope that we have pretty good ground to make conclusions, not complete yet, but still. What about difficult? I would say they made it more interesting, definitely. But difficult, no. There are more difficult places in the world, believe me or not. And what I have to say that when you meet petitioners, and this is our main goal, when you meet petitioners and you speak to people and you see these real emotions, it is, and then you meet officials who sometimes just deny that there is a problem. It's not a good picture. It's not good. These are very different things, and now we have to somehow to put it together. But no, it was not difficult. It was interesting.
Vale, ¿alguien tiene alguna última pregunta? Y si no es el caso, muchísimas gracias a todos por atender la rueda de prensa. Gracias, Jana, y buenas fiestas.